Hello, hello, and thanks for joining me today. I'm here to talk about something that is hugely important and something that comes up with all of my clients. So if you're like all of my clients, which I know you are a high-performing entrepreneur. So you have really high expectations for yourself. You're used to working things out and achieving big things. What happens is those high expectations that you have for yourself translate into high expectations for your team. And that is a hugely positive and inspiring thing, and one of the big reasons why somebody wants to work with you in the first place. But the bit that happens after that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. When we have high expectations for the people that work with us, naturally, they're human and they won't always meet all of those high expectations. There'll be things that people are doing that isn't quite to the level you're after. There'll be things that people are doing that just aren't what you want. And there'll be things that need to be improved. But I want to talk to you today about the way you feel as the entrepreneur, as the leader, as the business owner, when it comes to having a conversation with the person about those things that need to be improved. Now, what I see is that you get lots of emotions about these conversations. You may feel nervous. It may feel like you need to be mean. You may even not want to have the conversation consciously or unconsciously, and you may or even start jumping to decisions in your mind about maybe they're not right for me because they're not doing X, Y, and Z. So I'm here today to start to talk about how important it is that you normalize the fact that everybody in your business, anybody that works for you, is going to have things that they need to improve. So it is extremely unrealistic to think that anybody is going to join your business. And even the people who've been and worked with you for, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, everybody will still have areas that they need to improve. So you will always need to be having these conversations about things that we can improve. Now, if you reflect back, if you are a leader who has people that worked with you, if you're somebody that has people who have worked with you for a number of years, you're probably naturally having these conversations about, hey, what can we be doing better? Or can you do this better? Or can you do differently? Or here's an idea about how you can do something differently. And those conversations probably feel more natural or easier than when you think about having that conversation or addressing that issue or that thing with somebody that's new, that's just joined your business. Now, I want to talk about why it feels easier with the person that's worked with you for a couple of years versus harder or more challenging, or maybe you feel more resistance around having the conversation or addressing it with the person who's newer to you. So, the obvious first reason that comes up is the relationship that you have with the person who's been with you around. You probably feel safe knowing that they may receive it well. You can preempt the sort of reaction they may or may not have. You probably are assuming that they know the intention of which you're going to come at that conversation, and they know that you're not trying to be mean, etc., etc. But the actual conversation that you need to have with both people, whether they're brand new to you or if there's somebody that's worked with you for many years, is exactly the same. So what I'm trying to point out today, and what I want you to notice today, it's how you're coming to the conversation that's actually significantly different. When it's somebody that you know very well, the conversation you need to have is the same. Hey, let's talk about how we can do this better. And if you're having that conversation with someone that's brand new, it's exactly the same. Hey, can we talk about how you can do this thing or this area better? So I want you to think today about how you're currently coming at those conversations, or what story you're putting around resistance or nerves or feelings that you're having about a conversation you need to have about something that needs to be improved, or something that a way that you'd like to see someone on your team elevating or improving. So I want you to start with thinking about, well, what story or thing are you putting around the conversation? And what do you need to do to normalize the conversation in your mind? Because the way you come to the conversation is everything. If you come to it thinking, oh, this is going to be emotional, then that energetically is going to be felt. So what you need to do as an empowered CEO running an amazing business that's always growing and elevating and pushing through, plateaus and new barriers and achieving new success and new goals is you need to create a culture where talking about what we can improve is normal. So you want to create a culture where we're always going to be having these conversations about what's working well, but also what can be improved. And it doesn't mean that you're not awesome. It doesn't mean that I'm overlooking the things that are amazing. We're going to talk about them as well. But we as an individual, you as an individual, me as an individual, and we as a team, a collective team, and us as a greater business, we're always going to be focused on what we can do better and how we can improve. So we need to create and instill that being just normal. It's just the way we do things. It's just the type of conversations that we have. We talk about it in a balanced way. We talk about what's great. We celebrate what's great, but we always look for what we can improve at an individual level, what you're contributing, how you're doing it, how the team's working, and at a bigger level as to how the whole business is working and evolving and growing and reaching and doing what it's doing. So you can see that this conversation, this concept of what needs to be improved can come out in so many different ways. It can come out when you have a brand new team member who's just joined you and they're not quite right, or they don't feel quite right yet, or there's some things that you'd hope they'd be doing differently and they're not quite doing them yet. Then you need to jump on those conversations, jump on those opportunities and normalize. You're like, hey, you've been with me for a week, you've been with me for a month. This is what's going really well. And this is what I'd like us to work on. This is what I'd like you to work on. So normalize it. We're always going to be talking about what's great and what can be improved. Just the same way you'd have that conversation with someone who's been with you for a year, for 2 years, or someone that you feel really, really comfortable with. So it's the way that you come at these conversations that can hugely impact how the message is received and how inspired and motivated you can leave the person feeling. And they'll feel safe once they start to realize that it is a normal part of your business to be always having these conversations with everybody. So that's a hugely important concept for you to have a bit of a think about. And it starts with thinking about the way you're coming at the conversations. It comes up all the time with my clients. It's coming up at the moment. So I wanted to jump on here and share that with you. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. If it's coming up for you, if you're struggling to find the right words, if you're struggling to park your own feelings, reach out to me and let's have a conversation. And I'll start to give you some framework for the words, for how you structure the meeting so it can feel really easeful. Because as we start to normalize these conversations as part of our business, it's just the way we do things. It's not personal. It's just our culture. We're always trying to improve. The conversations become much easier for us, for you as the CEO, but also for everybody. And you'll just see the performance of each of your team and your business as a whole just start to elevate as these just start becoming the conversations that we always have. So reach out to me if you're struggling with how to phrase the conversations, you're struggling with maybe some of the emotions that you're having around situations that have led to you needing to have the conversation. And let's get you feeling really empowered and ready to have the conversation that you know you need to have. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon.